It's 6:20 a.m. I got the bedhead Thursday morning. But when I get home tonight, I have a Zoom meeting. Zoom. I think we use, I don't know, we use one of those other platforms. Zoom got in, right? Like Coke, Xerox. If you hear some gurgling in the background, that's the coffee pot. I still have to shower. I'm rocking this bedhead. But I want to get out there. Scapes are in. I think we did garlic scapes, didn't we, last year? It's an annual delight. I had the first two last night. Check it out. Bowl of pasta with my rumo penne. I cooked some broccoli rabe, the young June broccoli rabe, and then I poached the garlic scapes in the rosé. It was phenomenal. But anyway, I want to harvest them all. You have to cut them, right? Or you won't get garlic heads. That would turn into a flower. I went through this all on last year's episode. But you have to cut that scape off the hardneck garlic in order for the garlic head to grow. So it's a double. You get a bonus. They're absolutely delicious. And I have some guests coming later in the season. So what I want to do is get a bunch. I mean, I'll probably grill some this weekend. But I want to pickle a bunch of them so that they're on hand. If we just quick pickle them, refrigerator pickle they call it. I'm not going to go through canning with the hot water bath, 15 minutes, all of that nonsense. We're going to quick pickle them tonight when I get home after the Zoom. And then they're good in the fridge a couple of months, a few months. They'll be good definitely through the summer. So come on out. Let's do it. Come on, let's do it. Okay, we're out here in the garden. Here's all the garlic. I got this get up on, and this makes me a little bit sad because a neighbor gave me this many years ago for when I used to walk Beatrice down the road, and it is a lifesaver. Funny enough, mosquitoes aren't bad right now. They were last month. They're pretty, I haven't seen any. But what's out now, probably for the next few weeks, are those little green, they call them deer flies around here. In other parts of the country, they have other names. It's a little green, almost triangular fly, and they bite like crazy. They're awful, and even if they don't bite you, they're just annoying. They're buzzing around your head. They're so belligerent. So this comes in handy. Let me get the close-up, and we'll snip some of these scapes. All right, I got a nice close-up. They don't all come in at the same time, so I'll get the ones that look ready when they're nice and long. And what you want to do is get right down here where they meet the leaf. Just snip them off, and into the basket they go. Here's another one. And I can see a bunch that are really curling around a lot. That's when you definitely want to get them. When they're going straight up and they're small, you leave them so you get a couple of harvests throughout the summer. I'll get the ones that all look good, and I'll meet you back in the kitchen. Nice little snipping. And there's plenty more out there. This is some nice fresh dill. That's for my lunch today. I'm making a salad. However, the dill is volunteer. I don't even plant it anymore. It just pops up all over the place and it goes crazy. So I think I might pick a batch about twice that size and put it in a jar with these scapes. Can't hurt, right? This jar looks perfect for what we've got here. I'll sterilize it this evening. Just yesterday I bought some brand new tops. Again, we're not canning, but always good to use the clean tops. But for right now, I'll just put these in this bag while I go to work. And I am not going to refrigerate this. I think as 21st century Westerners or whatever, I think we rely on the refrigerator too much. My onions don't get stored in the fridge. Tomatoes don't get stored in the fridge. There are flavor compounds that just get destroyed. So once these are quick pickled, of course, we'll put the jar in there for storage. Hence the term refrigerator pickles. But for the next, 6:30 now? For the next 12 hours, because I have the meeting at 6:30, shouldn't take long. So I'll probably see you all between 7 and 7:30 p.m. tonight. We'll take these out. We'll quick pickle them. So let's get them all down in. Seal up this bag. And quick tip. I took this. I don't have any straws in the house, so I took a ballpoint pen. Took the ink cartridge out and the little cap that's on the end, so it's basically a straw. I'm going to put one end in. All right. Close up the bag up to the straw, and we're going to take as much air out of this thing as we can. Close the bag, make sure it's sealed all the way up to the pen. See that? And then I got that garlic scape flavor. Alright, it's not exactly a seal meal, but I got a good amount of air out of that. Just going to leave them right here on the counter. See you all this evening. When I left you all this morning, we left our scapes on the counter. And now I'm back, took care of my business, and we are ready to pickle these beauties up. I've got, well, come on over to the stove. I'll show you while I tell you. Alright, this is going to be so simple. I've had this jar on here sterilizing. It's been on for a while, so it should be good to go. Let's get that out. Now, I'm going to turn the flame off back there, but while that water is still good and hot, let's get our jar lid in there. Sterilize off those, factory oils or whatever might be on that. So let's get, and I'll find a clean ring and I'll throw that in too. I got hundreds of the rings. The key is to use a brand new, especially if you're canning. You've got to always use a new lid. So, jar's still going to be hot to the touch. But while it is, let's get our scapes in there. Now, you could cut these up into pieces, but I'm just going to put them in just the way they are. Let them wrap around. Let's get them all stuffed in there. Okay, you see what I'm doing. I'll fill this jar, and then we'll slide the camera over to the stove, and we'll make our pickling liquid. Pretty good fit. I like the idea that I'm staying whole, wrapped around, and then once they're pickled, you pull one out, you can chop them at that point. Here I've got some black peppercorn and some mustard seed. Let's put that in. And then, if you recall from this morning, the dill, right? Well, check this out. I had a little left on the counter. I had put some in my salad dressing. I had a little left on the counter, but I wanted a little more in there. I love dill. So I just went out, I'm back like 10 seconds. I went out to get, and light bulb, I've been having a boom year for radish. Last year, not so good. You live, you learn. These French breakfast radishes are just coming in so nicely. I've been having a few every day. I love radish. And these are particularly, 5-second rule. They're pungent, but sweet at the same time. So we're going through the pickling process. Why not take advantage and get some pickled radish slices in there? All right, we got plenty of room in the jar. So I got the French breakfast, and I've got these sort of red globe. I don't remember the actual name of these. I have the seed pack in the fridge, and actually succession planting is key. I have a whole new little row of them coming up. These are at full peak. And then this weekend, I'm going to be planting more. You plant every couple of weeks these things, because these are quick growers, and you just have them all through the summer. And by the way, the leaves I saute with garlic. Fantastic. Okay. Not a bad little jar full of goodies. Garlic scapes, peppercorn, mustard seed, dill, and radish. Let's mix up our pickling liquid. Over to the stove. This could not be simpler. For that jar, let's see, let's go 1 cup of water, 1 cup apple cider vinegar, basic pickling liquid, 1 tablespoon salt. I'm gonna go with the kosher. 1 tablespoon. And a ½ tablespoon of sugar. Simple, basic pickling liquid. We'll just get the solids, the salt and sugar dissolved. Get it to a good hot temp. And pour it over our pickles. Okay, we're coming up to the boil. Looks nice and clear. So our salt and sugar is well dissolved. So let's turn this off. Let's slide over to our pickling jar. And that is a beautiful sight. Look at those colors. Totally, it's like Christmas, huh? So let's take our solution. It's hot. The jar has cooled down, so we want to do like a tempering thing so we don't crack the jar. Although, if I pour it right down the center, the vegetables will absorb the heat. But we'll temper the glass. It's like we do with the eggs, right? Just introduce the warmth. You don't want to shock that glass with hot boiling liquid. It'll crack. Trust me, I've had it happen. And now I think we can confidently pour. Feeling the jar. The veg will take up a lot of the heat. Yeah, I think we're safe. So we're just going to fill it right up. You want to leave a 1/4 inch at the top, a little bit of head space. That looks good. Now, let me just take my spoon and jostle a little. We want to get as much air out as possible. Push the garlic down. Escapes, but garlic, for lack of a better term. So now, I've had my lid and my ring in, so those are somewhat sterilized. Not somewhat, they're sterilized. Get the lid on. Now, I'm not going to tighten this. I just want a loose enclosure. Beauty of these lids is air will creep out. So I'm going to leave that here. It's 8:30 p.m. I'm just going to leave that right there. Let it sit till the morning. And then I'll pop it in the fridge. TGIFF. No typo. Enjoying a nice little V&T here with lime and lilac syrup. Got some yard work done. And almost 8 p.m. I put the date on this, 6/6. That's when we closed up the jar last night. Now, this, it's actual pickling. This wants to pickle. In other words, there's some lacto fermentation that wants to take place. So this will sit in the fridge for 2 weeks. All right, I'll tell you about that in a second. This will sit in the fridge for 2 weeks for the lacto fermentation to take place. I'm not going to touch them till then. And then we'll turn on the camera and do a little episode. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. Maybe I like them on top of burgers. Who knows? We'll see in a couple of weeks. But for tonight, you know on this show we're big on quality control. So let's just take one out. They won't be pickled yet. No fermentation that has had an opportunity to take place. It'll just be a garlic scape soaked for 24 hours in our vinegar pickling solution. Remember, vinegar, water, salt, and sugar. So back into the fridge with this. Meet me over on the board, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with this one little pre-pickled garlic scape from yesterday. See you over by the board. I got the old Breville heating up here. We got it on 440 convection, getting it nice and hot. Here's that scape. Let's chop it up a little. I am hungry. I told you I did a bunch of yard work when I got home. I did have one little bite, but let me show you what I want to do with this. And in the interest of QC, before we even cook it or do anything, let me try a piece. Ooh, you know what? The improv sort of afterthought edition of the dill was the way to go. These are going to be fantastic in 2 weeks. And let me show you what I'm going to do with this little batch here. I knew I had yard work. I knew it was TGIFF. I didn't feel like cooking. I already had one. Let's go for number 2. I had a plain cheese earlier, but I got this sort of, and I'm usually not a garbagey slice guy, but I thought, I saw this. Oh, we got ants. I saw this. It's got some, looks like mushroom, green bell pepper, onion, little pepperoni. I saw that and I was like, let's add the scapes to that. Little not quite yet pickled scapes. So let's pop that in. I think we're hot enough, 440. I do have a little tray in here to simulate the idea of a baking stone to get the bottom cooked. And that's been heating up with the oven. So let's get her on there. Lost a little scape to that flopperoonie. Let's get it back on. At 440, it's only going to need a couple minutes. Let's get out that garbage slice. Oh, I can hear it sizzling. Bottom nice and crunchy. Got our garlic scapes on there along with everything else. Let's give it a try. Alright, this is definitely hot. Take a look on there. I want to make sure I get some scape on the first bite. Okay, you know what? I'm going to cut off the tip because I see where the scape sort of starts. So we'll let that sit. First bite has to have garlic scape. There we go. I see a couple of them right there. Not usually about all these toppings, but I'm kind of digging it, man. And the scapes are coming through. I got a little pepperoni, green bell pepper. Very nice, but I definitely taste the scape. So that was just a little QC, a little something fun to do with it so that we could actually eat something on the show. But that's the idea of quick pickling, all right? At the end of the summer with tomatoes and stuff, and I'm hoping for peaches this year, you actually put a canning pot on the stove and you cook it so that you're really pressurizing it, true canning. But a quick pickle, those scapes, they won't even be ready for 2 weeks, and then they'll be good for a couple months in there. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll see you for the next episode, but I'll see you for an episode after that for the scapes. See you then. Come on, let's do it.